right, today we're going to play around with the future method. The future method on bench press is going to allow us to work on really trying to develop a little bit more and stronger lockout strength. All right, we are going to be using bands for this future bench press. And so what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead, use your pull-up bar and link these up in the pull-up bar. If you have a heavier bench press, we'll be using red bands. And if you have a bench press that's a little on the lighter side, you can go ahead and use the orange bands. The goal here is to allow us to have the actual weight on the bar when it is in the locked out position. However, when you go and start to bring that bar down towards our chest, the weight is going to get just a little bit lighter, okay? And then we're going to be assisted out of the bottom of that position to be able to get that good, strong, locked out overhead finished part of the movement, okay? Now, as we're starting to do this, we are looking to kind of go into our percentages with a mindfulness, knowing that we haven't really done this before. So we've never done this at Training Yard, so we are going to be experimenting. But our goal is to be able to bench about 90 to 110% of your 1 rep max. Okay, because we're going to be able to have a little bit of assistance out of that hole or that bottom position, you are going to find that you're going to be able to lift a lot more. And again, we are going to be utilizing this as a kind of fun little change up to our programming, okay? So we're going to establish a future bench press here with this. We're going to take about 20 minutes to get to a max. I want you to get to a certain 1 rep max. We'll warm up with this sufficiently so that you do feel like you are ready to go, and then we'll start to move towards that end range. Again, our setup's going to be exactly the same. We do want to make sure that we are positioning these bands so that they are equal on the bar. Okay, it's going to be roughly in the same spot. So eyeball that as you move, and then you can go ahead and get your setup as exactly the same. First, we want a firm stance in our feet. You want those feet pressing firmly into the ground. Then we're going to pull those shoulder blades underneath us so that they are completely on the bench. All right. And then we're going to really try to engage the glutes, pressing our feet into the floor, allowing our shoulders to drive it more into that bench. And then from here, we'll go ahead and unlock it. Remember, we want to be able to start here and finish here strong. So don't bypass getting into the locked out position from the beginning. And as you bring it down, you're going to touch the chest, and then we're going to come right back up and locking it back out. What I don't want to see is that as you pull it out of the rack, you immediately go down, and as you come up, you immediately put it in the rack. That doesn't give us an opportunity to be as safe as possible, and we want to make sure that we are able to support this weight in the locked out position before we actually perform the movement. So I want you to be careful and cautious. Now, for a lot of you, this is going to feel awesome. We're going to be able to play with that good position, remembering that our elbows don't go straight down or they don't go back and away from the bench. We want the elbows to come forward slightly towards our feet. So if you can take a look at my elbow, we're not going to let the elbows come back towards the wall that's behind me. We're not going to go straight down, although that's going to be a better option than the one before it. We want to make sure that we're creating a little bit of torque and recruiting a little bit more muscle. So then as we come down, those elbows will come slightly forward towards my feet. All right, so we're going to play around with this. I want you to make sure that you're confident with it. You will have a spotter if you're at Training Yard. If you don't have a spotter, I recommend just making sure that you are very sure that you have the ability to exit this bar. So that means we won't be clipping it. We never clip bench press for that reason. All right. And if you are in by yourself and you do have the ability to have pins, that's going to be something that comes out so that if you do need to escape from the bar, it rests on those platforms and you can go ahead and safely exit. But because we're doing something a little bit new, I don't recommend being by yourself 100%. Try to be in the room with somebody that can possibly save you if you need it. I think this is going to be a fun kind of new bench press that we can kind of play around with, and then we can sprinkle it in so that we can possibly and potentially get a stronger bench press in 2025.